Hi there and welcome to Bustthenet. On today's show, I'm going to take a look at the dynamics module. Now, this has been introduced into the game. It's a new feature. It's going to be fairly important for us to get to terms with it. And the objective of today's show is to explain it very quickly and then to show you how you can get around to handling this module so that it adds value to your game and doesn't just get you fired overnight. I've tested it out and I managed to get myself fired in 2 weeks. So trust me, I know how it should work. The dynamics module, when you get to the main page, it's got a main hub where 3 new scores are calculated and displayed. One is match cohesion or team cohesion, a score that reflects how the dynamics of your squad manifest themselves on the pitch. The better the score, the better the on-field pitch performances. It does give you an indication of how well your team is gelling. The dressing room atmosphere basically gives you a score and lets you know how likely your team is at raising issues. Right? Sometimes if the score is really low, then chances are they're going to moan over all kinds of issues. If the score is really high, they're willing to get on with the job. Influential players tend to carry a bit more weight, so you want to zoom in on these influential players. Make sure that you keep them happy. So you got your Ronaldos and your Messi's. You're gonna have to listen to them. Finally, you've got managerial support. Now, managerial support is really interesting. Why? Managerial support, if you don't look after this aspect, you could get fired. And it's all about losing the dressing room. It's pretty important to get this aspect of the game right. And I've been testing this feature out, and I guarantee you I figured out how to get sacked. I managed to get myself sacked from Man City inside 3 weeks because I decided to ignore all my players. I shat all over them. I didn't handle any of the issues. And the next thing you know, my support became abysmal, and there I was, out of a job. Now, what do you do in this game? So the best way of handling the managerial support is simply this. When you get into the game, you're going to have this dynamic screen. You're going to have all these options available to you. What you're going to do is you're going to ask yourself a question. What kind of a manager do you want to be? So you got to choose the right kind of badges. If this is the first time you're handling the module, I will recommend choosing the badges that match your club level. Right, so go with the recommendation on the visit at the start, and then go into the game. Chances are when you start out, your support will be average. Your support will start dropping because if you don't start winning games and if you don't handle play issues, then that score starts dropping in managerial support. And the way you want to handle this is looking at your squad itself. You've got key players, you've got first team players, and you've got rotation players, right? So what you want to do is you want to exercise the right kind of squad rotation in your club and to manage injuries and expectations. Out of every 10 to 15 matches, key players expect to play 60% of their games. First teamers will expect 50% and rotation players 40%. So try to hit those marks with your players and you should be fine with them coming up to you and screaming for a chance to play football. Introduce younger players who are capable of winning a place in your first team squad, because these players, once they start getting a lot of action, they're going to look at you and go, hey, I like you, boss, because you gave me a chance to play. So you got them in your little camp. If your reputation is lower than the players, which is most likely going to be the case, then make sure that you try and meet their expectations. So when you sign contracts with them, don't make unnecessary promises. Do not promise a player key player status if you know in deep down inside he's not going to be playing those kind of games. If a player comes up to you and asks you for a new contract signing, you got to be very, very careful. Sometimes the old trick used to be to tell those boys, we don't have enough money, right? I used to use that trick all the time. Now, it's not going to work with the big clubs. Like Man City, if you try that with one of your players and you go, look, we'll talk about a new contract because much later because we've got no money, he's going to turn around and slap you in the face and say, I don't believe you. Duh. Okay, that's it. That's going to happen. So you're going to have to look at whether that player is an influential member in your first team squad. It's going to be very, very important that you manage this correctly because dynamics knocks on into squad morale. So if your players, if you start losing the dressing room battle, it's going to roll into their morale. And then when you start playing games, it's going to be very hard for you to lift the squad up because there's nothing worse than coming off a winning run and then in a span of a week you can lose your morale battle. I've seen it happen before. It can happen to you. So Manage your squad properly, rotate your squad the right amount, and don't make promises you can't keep. Finally, ensure that you have the right badges. If you're learning the game for the first time, go for the max. Take all the badges you can, go into the game, get used to the module. Don't just jump in. If you're going to jump in at the deep end and you start losing the battle, then you ask for it. Because your reputation is going to be so low if you have no badges that you're going to have an uphill struggle all the time, which means that you need to win a lot of games. Which also means they're not going to respect you when they ask for contract negotiations. They're always going to bang on the door. The agent is always going to tell them, hey, go and talk to your boss. You just scored a goal in your last match, maybe you deserve a new contract. This kind of shit is going to happen in the game, so you're going to have to manage it. So for when you're starting out, it won't take you very long. The best time to do this is, we're all in the beta, have some fun, enjoy the dynamics overview, the dynamics module right now, and have some fun. The dynamics module has got other tabs as well. Now I've covered the first part of this video is basically for anybody who just wants to watch 5 minutes and get on with the game. Now for the rest of you, hierarchy, if you click on it, you'll find all the players who oppose you. If you click on one of these and you decide, well, I want to get you to talk to another player in my club, make sure that he at least supports you. If he doesn't support you, then chances are the drop down you get to handle the issues of other players. You have those options still, but chances are when you ask, the options you get are going to be limited. And if the player does not support you, then you can't ask them to intervene on your behalf with other players, because they will give you responses like, you're the manager here, go and do it yourself. Opening up the happiness tab will give you a consolidated view for the whole club. This is the overall happiness is the total score for the club. It's a function of morale, training, treatment, club management, and playing time. You need to pay attention to the team leaders and influential players, because they are the sort of people that are going to get you into trouble if you don't handle their concerns. And handling it diplomatically will be the key in the game. As a whole, I think the dynamics module is kind of fun. It's like a mini game by itself. So when you get into this game, make sure you do the right things. Choose your badges correctly. I mean, if you want to take the challenge, then go for the lower badges, but make sure you keep your promises to your players. Learn how to handle the higher reputation players. Chances are you're gonna have to let these players go. If they do a Philip Coutinho on you, you might have no choice. You might have to let them go. So otherwise there's a whole dressing room battle that goes on. It rolls over into squad morale, and then results start to go from bad to worse, and you could just lose your job like that. So the dynamics module, there is a way to game it, but the best way of handling it is by keeping your promises and doing the right amount of rotation. Well, I hope you found this short little feature on the dynamics module helpful. If you have any questions, find me on Twitter at Bustthenet or addicted2fm.com. Once again, I'd like to thank all my patrons for their continued support of this channel. You guys take care, have fun, and I'll catch up with you soon. Bye-bye.